Legacy Men is coming up. It's away June. Make sure you register as fast as you can. We're back this evening to continue our discussion. And last time we were talking about how we are our ancestors' wildest dreams. Tonight, I'm Robert Dennis. I'm joined by four exquisite great men. I want to start to my far right this time.
Lenore Johnson.
Lamont Jackson.
Vernon Miles.
Brian Haysbert.
Last time you joined us, we were continuing our discussion on being our ancestors' wildest dreams. We went through a kind of montage of a conversation that talked about how laziness brought us to a space of creativity, how Pastor Nar mentioned, we close our eyes and imagine, that they could close their eyes and imagine we are the imagination of things. And Vernon talked about the generational things and how we can do different things. And Brian gave to us a montage of things talking about how the economic and business structure of things transcended from one generation to the next. So we always talk about history with our youth. But how can we help the youth see their part in today's history, in today's societal piece, and take the torch to run to build their legacy, and run and truly stay and remain our ancestors' wildest dreams? I'm not one to sit there and say that our generation is the best generation. Well, we heard that time and time and time and time again. I just wish that we can leave enough of a foundation or enough of territory we can plant in them the desire to continue to keep going. So if any one of you want to jump in and see how do we take what we know now and give them the lessons without preaching to them, give them the lessons without drilling it to them, but still give them the creativity and the space to make mistakes and still build a legacy. Anyone you want to jump in?
Well, you said a lot of magical words there. Getting them exposed to more. Because they don't know their history. They don't know where they come from in most cases. So we have to give them a quick crash course in what's running through their veins, what's running in their blood. Once we do that and show them what they can take over, I believe that they'll do it, because they're very, very bold in this new generation. And we can see them accomplishing more, doing more. We just have to lead them in the right direction because they can get there with speed. And in this generation, everything is quick. You got the internet. Everything is at their fingertips. They're not going to want to do things slow. So we can give them exposure, show them what they can be, what they can do, give them examples, and we can even hand walk them through wisdom. And that'll
I'm going to talk to an elder or a pastor, elder, or a pastor to find out, because you guys are always in the space of have to take a message and give it to groups of people at the same time.
I think the process is seed, time, and harvest. Okay? And you got to understand who's seeding. Okay? You got to understand who's harvesting. And you got to believe who's going to give the increase. Now, in our sense, God gives the increase. It's the instruction that nourishes and causes growth to that seed. It's instruction. We know this by instructing in righteousness, right standing with me, God would say. So as we instruct in righteousness, and let's take it to a business context, if we instruct correct values, because business is done based upon who you know. You might have a lot of creativity, but you're going to need somebody's money or economic vision. So as we come with that when you need the economic vision, and you don't have to possess it all the time, you just need to know when it's right for you, okay? you have to have a confirmation, so to speak. So as business is done, you have an idea, seed, you need time to work on it and get all the components, and the safety and a multitude of counselors, okay? And then you come back and you get this harvest. Now the thing is, what keeps it together in that next generation, even for them, is character. 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 Now I think that, I think since you're picking this up, Lamont, pick up character, what's necessary to maintain a thing. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking at Lenard.
I can, but
I got you, brother.
Go ahead, go look.
Because it's modeling, right? One, we have to let the youth know who they are. Really get them to understand who they are, who they were created to be. Help them to understand their purpose, but we have to model it. We have to be a guide. We have to be the guide of character if we really want them to have character. A lot of the situations that are going on where there is no legacy is because the youth didn't have a role model. They didn't have the instruction. They didn't have a guide. They didn't have anybody there for them. So when it comes to the character, we came up, do what I say, not what I do. But in this generation, if you really want to leave a legacy, it's do as I do. Do as I model for you. Do as I lead you and I guide you. Do as I do, because I'm trying to help guide you to your legacy.
So, guide you to your legacy. There's a lot that can be said about the music today, a lot can be said about the fashion today. So, expression of hair is a big way people express their fashion, and the music is a big way to express their fashion. Pastor Vernon, you're one who can speak to both sides of that thing. Help us understand the youth, or help us understand the different generations and how you have to cut an older person's hair, cut a younger person's hair, and still be the same ghetto psychologist to them.
Oh my goodness, that's good.
Oh, I like that.
I'm a minister when I cut hair.
Right.
And
Yes.
you hit it right on the head.
Cut it up.
Minister, but I can't.
you just not a barber, and you're going to have to counsel. You're going to have to mentor to those that's coming in your chair. Hair, it dates back all the way from the beginning of times, and how you wear your hair or what tribe you from. I don't want to get into Samson and take up too much time, but Samson's mother, she knew his calling, because Samson's mother was in the sanctuary where the fivefold ministry was going on. So that prophecy you need in a prophet, you have to know and hear from God who is that child, and let the children become who they are. When I was a youth pastor, I was only as good as my staff. I had a staff member named Minister Ebony. I had a teacher in there. I had a prophet named Prophet Lavelle. I had an Elder Crystal. I had a hip-hop gospel music minister in ASG. And I had my wife. The church, and I love the church. People, you're going to have haters. That's why you got to be very, very careful to what Elder Brian said. Who's around your child and who's putting instructions in your child. Because Abel, the older brother, hated on Cain and he killed him. You had Joseph, all his older brothers hated on him and they threw him in a pit. But in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. And I had those type of leaders in there to feed into those children and those youth, and they knew who they were, and they knew who they were going to become. And I thank God for the prophets that was in my group. I thank God for Minister Ebony for his exposure. Like Brother Lamont was saying, we took them to colleges. Ebony was taking me to places that I ain't never been before. I was sitting there like, wow. You know, they did cotillions. We did ballrooms, and they just gave me and Donna the things what to say. And I'm sitting there like, my God, the people in your circle was not only exposing the youth in the next generation, but they was exposing me.
How many of us so-called older individuals or well-seasoned individuals are willing to learn something new to pass on to the ancestors or pass on from what we learned to the ancestors to the next generation? If I can learn something new from my sons or your son or your son or your daughter, and I can take the information from what I know, the new information they give me, I can then dissect it and pass it on to the next generation. It goes back to what you said there and said, you were like, not necessarily a soulful person, but a person who does not want to do something to the high strenuous level, will use their ingenuity to find a new way to get to do it better. I'm thinking about Eli Whitman Cotton. I'm not doing this.
Not this way.
Gotta be a better way. He sat down and was like, I'm gonna figure out how to, I gotta pick cotton. I'm gonna figure out a way we're gonna get this cotton picked real good. But it's ironic that, you know, we were born here to pick the cotton. I mean, and everything that we as a society, as an organization of people have put together to start to do has become known to be the best at it. Look at music. Hip hop is every single day in our music genre. And even now, it scares so much. You don't even see a commercial nowadays today without even having hip hop. But how do we take the legacy of economics, the legacy of religion, the legacy of business, and all these things, and our packed house that we're going to have on June 6th, 7th, and 8th, and get that same information to all the generations in 3 days, and have them be able to run with it?
Well, we have to be students first. Knowledge transfers, being a student, especially economically, it's a big deal. We can't take it lightly because in this country, if you are not economically sound, you're just not going to get too far. You can pray all day if you want to. It's not going to matter. Faith without works is still going to be the same. So if you can get some things economically, and I believe in the younger generation, their ability to find easier ways to do things. I believe that we can work well together with the youth and the younger generation because they haven't been damaged yet. One of the things my son challenged me is, why can't you do it? And I'm trying to figure out how to do it. And I'm looking at him like, because it's hard. And he's like, no, you just got to think a little differently about it. And I can take that advice from a person that's never been damaged because we can sit up here and give each other all kind of reasons through our hurt and our pain why we can't do anything.
If you're 30 and under, please register for this conference. We
Come
got
on out.
space on this panel.
Come on out.
We have space in this conference. We have space in society for you and what you're able to bring to the table.
That's right.
I just want to just ask like another, or just make like another little statement. If you can go back and speak to your young self about legacy now, what would you say? And not just a regretful thing, but what would you honestly say that you would, me and Lamont talked before about the waste of time, but I don't want to waste too much time, but what would you say to yourself or to your younger version of yourself, to your younger version of your friends about legacy and about, and what we can change today? Like you guys get where I'm coming from. Like, what would you say to
What would you say to your younger self? Learn more about your finances early. Be more dedicated as a student to your faith, because I don't care what you do. If you don't have faith, you're not doing anything. And don't tell me you have faith for something you haven't done, because you don't. Okay, what you talking about? If you haven't done it, you don't have the faith for it. But learn more, to me, about economics and the things that move the system then our legacy will be more impactful through our prayer and our faith, but then our works have to come into play. Then we go right back to our prayer and our faith, then our works again, then back, because it's continuous.
I'd like to add to that faith, self-control. Self-control. Knowing when to say no. Knowing how to stay away from things that is really just delaying your process towards your legacy. Self-control.
Keep God first. Love God first over everything, because he first loved you and he first created you. Yes, young men, you may have this girl that you fall in love with, but you don't want to fall totally in love with her and give her everything, which would create soul ties. And you put God last, which can be damaging. Same for a young lady. I grew up with sisters. I look back at you, young sister, give God your everything first. And if it doesn't line up with God, then they don't line up with you.
Looking back at my younger self, I would say, believe me, tomorrow is
It's a sign.
I think going back, tomorrow is coming, meaning that tomorrow's coming, therefore change is coming. And you're going to have to learn to adapt to change. You're going to have to be encouraged. Just because you don't see it means you're probably closer to it than you ever have been. You will get old. You will get old.
And that's a blessing.
Go with it. I think you know exactly what I'm talking. Go with it.
No, you keep going, but that's a blessing. When you said that. You will get old, yes, you will, and that's the blessing. You will learn, you will get old, you will teach.
Instruction. You see, I'm going to get weird right now. We're all the same age, but been assigned at different moments in time. Okay, if we will find out that we were in the Father at the foundation of the world, then our assignment was at different times. According to the Word of God, Genesis 6:3 says we have 120 years. Scientists have proven that we're designed to at least last that long. And that's even after the result of the curse. Go ahead.
No,
Go. You done raised your mic now. Go ahead.
Because people don't know that. That's why, again, this conference is important. That's a lesson right there. 120 years. That's what you were designed. People don't know that.
Jump in and get on that.
Man, I love my brothers right here. When you said we were born, we were created before the foundations of this world, before God even founded it. We are legacy. We from the ancient of days. We just going into our time, as Elder Brian said, walking into our purpose in this time here on earth. So don't let nothing defeat you. You got everything. You got every resource. You got everything that God has given you. In Lamont, you said adaptability. Learn how to adapt to different things that come your way. Cast anxiety down, because anxiety will speed you up. You hear God always saying, wait on the Lord, and he shall renew your strength. But when you got anxiety into things, into play, it speeds you up. So you have to slow down, go to sleep, give it to God, and adapt.
I want to add one thing to it, if I could. Romans 8:28. And we know all things work together for good. To them that love the Lord, them that call according to his purpose. Don't get too high, don't get too low. Know that it's all good with your legacy in the Men's Legacy Conference.
History makers, change agents, want to make sure it's clear. That's what we all are. History makers, we're raising up history makers.
We really love y'all. We love you all because God taught us love. And without love, we can't make this world a better place. And God has given us something to give back to each other. So y'all, let's just unite. Unite. This is a world is formed with a lot of different cliques, a lot of different things going on. But for us to make things better, let's come together for the kingdom of God and unite and find someone who's not saved, someone who don't know God, and bring them to this conference. And we will definitely support them.
Thank you once again, gentlemen. Thank you, Elder Brian. Thank you, Pastor Vernon. Thank you, Elder Lamont. Thank you, Pastor Bernard.
Speak it.
Y'all have yourself a good evening.
Your
God bless.
legacy begins now.
Absolutely.
Legacy.
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 Legacy. This is the one conference that is just for men.
I want to be a better father. I want to be a better husband. I want to be a better son.
We really need to focus and be intentional about our legacies.
A good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children.
We'll be discussing important topics.
It's going to help each and every man in every aspect of their life.
It's going to be a time filled with worship, filled with prayer, where we're going to stir up the spirit.
And we can be better pillars in our community.
Your spirit will be empowered, and that's a part that you don't want to miss.
So I'm really excited to attend this conference.
I'll be attending the Men's Legacy Conference, and I hope you will too.
But don't meet me there, beat me there.
At the Men's Legacy Conference.
Conferences for men. It's only $30. You get 3 days. You get a Thursday night, Friday night, and all day Saturday. You can register at bit.ly/LegacyCon24. You can also go on Sons of Consecration on the IG page. You can register there. And we want some vendors that have male products, men products. We want our future to be better. We need our men to build an inheritance for their children's children. Not their children, their grandchildren. So when your children see you building, then they can start building for their grandchildren, and then grandchildren, and then grandchildren.